What is up, my Pika crew? This is the ThePikaWu, and welcome to another black and white Wi-Fi battle. This one's going to be an Ubers match against a guy called Hexagon0520. He does have a YouTube channel, so be sure to check him out after the match. A link will be in the description below. Now, looking at the team preview and looking at his team, he's got a very offensive team. In fact, it is a hyper-offensive playstyle because he's got really no defensive Pokemon at all. He's got 6 all-out attackers, 4 of them are setup sweepers, and those Pokemon are Darkrai, Mewtwo, Arceus, and Rayquaza. So if he does successfully set up, and if my defensive Pokemon are weakened, then he can potentially sweep my entire team, and I have to be very cautious about that. Now looking at my team, I've got, in fact, a completely opposite playstyle. I've got a relatively defensive team. As you can see, I've got 4 defensive Pokemon, and that's Ferrothorn, Dialga, Giratina, and Lugia. So it's kind of like offense versus defense, so we'll see who will be able to get the win. So I hope you guys enjoy the battle, and yeah, enjoy. So my opponent's going to lead off with a Darkrai because it is a very fast Pokemon, a great lead, and it can put something asleep first turn, as I'm going to lead off with my Kyogre because it is a Choice Scarf set and I could scare him out with my Water Spout. So I'm anticipating him to switch out because he doesn't want to risk the fact that I am a Choice Scarf set. So I'm thinking he wants to bring in the Palkia on the Water Spout. Unfortunately for me, that doesn't happen. He stays in to take the hit and he puts me asleep. And this is very dangerous because I really don't have a good Darkrai counter. In fact, Darkrai just destroys my entire team because all my walls are weak to either his Dark type move or his Fighting type move. So I really don't know what to do. I brought in my Ferrothorn here and I was hoping I could take a +2 Focus Blast and then just finish him off with a Gyro Ball, but luckily for me, he actually misses, and having hindsight in this battle, this was a really bad play bringing in the Ferrothorn, because if he did hit and connect with his Focus Blast, he would probably be able to take me out. So luckily for me, that doesn't happen, and I can finish him off with a Gyro Ball. Now in comes this Palkia, and it's not really a big threat anymore because I have the rain up. I know I can live the Fire Blast because it's going to be powered down by the rain. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up a layer of spikes, and then I'm just going to protect to scout if he's going to go for the Fire Blast again, or if he's going to switch up moves to predict my switch out. And the fact that he went for the Fire Blast twice, and then he goes for the Fire Blast again the 3rd time as I switch into Lugia, confirms my suspicion that he is probably locked into Fire Blast, and he is most likely a Choice Scarf set. So I know he's going to switch out since Lugia is very bulky, and he really can't do anything to me. So I can get a free substitute as he brings in the Kyurem Black. And Kyurem Black can deal super effective damage with either his electric or ice type moves. So I'm not really that afraid now that I have a substitute up, and in the case that he is more of a bulkier set with HP investment, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Toxic to poison him before I go for the Dragon Tail to shuffle his team around and to switch him out. But instead of going for the electric or ice type move, he's going to go ahead and lock himself into an Outrage. And this is really good because my Lugia is physically defensive, and I know I can probably take 2 hits and try to Roost Stall. And I want to further scout what kind of set he is, if he is a Banded set, if he's a Scarf set, whatever he is. So I want to see his damage output. Turns out it is not going to be a 2-hit KO, and I can just successfully stall him out with Roost and with Pressure. And after the 2 or 3 turn Outrage, and after he gets confused, I know he's probably going to want to switch. So knowing what he's going to do 2 turns in the future puts me at a very good advantage, because now that I go for the Roost, and now that he's confused and I'm at full health, I know he's going to switch. And I can either go for Toxic on the switch, I can go for the substitute, or I can go for the Dragon Tail. So I have a lot of options. So yeah, I'm just going to go for the Dragon Tail just to scout what kind of counter he wants to bring in to see what Pokemon really threatens my Lugia. And he's going to bring in the Arceus on the switch, and I see that it is a Arceus normal, so it is most likely a Swords Dancing set. And seeing that he brought it in against the Lugia, it probably has a very powerful super effective move, so I'm thinking it probably has Shadow Force. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and bring in the Mewtwo, which can deal super effective damage with either Ice Beam or Shadow Ball, but I know I can live the hit, and I can just further scout his team more with the Dragon Tail. And I'm going to shuffle his team, and I'm going to bring in the Arceus again. and thinking that it might have Shadow Force, and the fact that because if he goes for the Shadow Force, I'll miss my Dragon Tail, and it kind of ruins my Dragon Tailing strategy, I'm going to switch out into my Dialga to take the Shadow Force and get up my Stealth Rocks. Unfortunately for me, I predict wrong, and he goes for the Extreme Speed, which really isn't that unfortunate because I resist the hit too. I just mispredicted. But knowing that I can pretty much take any hit from Arceus, I can just set up my Stealth Rocks and then go from there. And he does carry the Earthquake, so I now know his entire set. It's probably Earthquake, Extreme Speed, Swords Dance, and a Ghost type move, either Shadow Claw or Shadow Force. So this is really good information to know, and I'm just going to leave my Dialga here to die against his second Earthquake. But now I know his entire set. He carries Swords Dance, Earthquake, Extreme Speed, and probably a Ghost type move, Shadow Claw or Shadow Force. So he doesn't have the super effective Brick Break, so I know this Ferrothorn is going to be able to live pretty much any hit from the Arceus, and I can just go for the Gyro Ball to take down the Arceus if he wants to stay in, and if he wants to switch out, then I can just deal some damage with Gyro Ball as well. And he goes for the Swords Dance because he knows that if I want to set up a layer of spikes, then he can start boosting up, and then he can try to take me out with like an Earthquake or something. But that doesn't really work out for him because I just went straight for the offense. And then now he's going to bring in the Mewtwo. And Mewtwo is very threatening with the Life Orb. It can pack a really big punch against pretty much any Pokemon. So I'm just going to leave my Ferrothorn there to die, gain momentum, and then bring in my Giratina to revenge kill with the Shadow Sneak. So now that his Mewtwo is down, he's going to bring in the Palkia. And I don't want to take a Draco Meteor to the face. So I'm going to decide to switch out. I'm going to decide to bring in my Kyogre to take the hit. Basically, because his team is so offensive, I'm just foddering Pokemon that are useless and then gaining momentum. So yeah, this Kyogre, it's going to get solidly taken down by 2 Spatial Rens. But now that my Kyogre is taken out, I can bring in an effective counter. I know he's locked into Spatial Rend, and because it's neutral damage, I know my Lugia can handle the Palkia and I can take the hits. And I can just continually go for the Roost. And I have pressure, so every time he uses Spatial Rend, he loses 2 PP, and he's eventually going to run out. And I know it's doing less than a half damage, so if I continuously go for the Roost, I can bring myself gradually back to full health. So this Lugia is going to pose as a huge threat. I'm pretty sure he's going to switch out here, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Dragon Tail on the switch. And luckily for me, it hits a Rayquaza, and that is really nice damage because he loses a quarter health from like Stealth Rocks, and then he's gonna lose a lot of health from the Dragon Tail. And I'm gonna bring in the Palkia again, and Palkia can probably go for Rain Boosted Hydro Pump or Thunder. Both of them are gonna threaten me, so I am gonna go ahead and bring in my Palkia to take the hit. And yeah, he is going to go for the Thunder. It's not quite a 2-hit KO, so he's just going to go for the Thunder again. It's Choice Scarf. It's going to outspeed me. I'm going to live, and then I can just finish him off with a Spatial Rend. And he really has nothing to bring in to take a Spatial Rend, so it was the wisest decision to stay in just to deal damage against my Palkia, and then revenge kill me with his own Rayquaza. But all of his Pokemon are at really low amount of health, so after he takes down my Palkia, I know that my Giratina can just go for the Shadow Sneak to take down the Rayquaza, and go for the Shadow Sneak to take down his last Pokemon, which is his Kyurem B. And that is going to be the match, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys liked seeing Lugia, because Lugia is a Pokemon that I love using. It's one of my favorite legendary Pokemon, and it is a very defensive and very useful Pokemon to have on any Ubers team. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to leave a like, a favorite, and a comment. And stay tuned for the comment question of the day. If you guys haven't subscribed already, feel free to join the Pika crew by subscribing. This is the ThePikaWu, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.